Hello, everyone. This old lady talk is here with a story. The title of my story is I Lost My Son Twice. My son, the one that you see on the picture. I lost him twice. Well, let me get on into the story. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and thumbs up the video and share it with a friend. My original channel has been hacked, but hopefully I will get it resolved as soon as possible. Okay, my son, one day he had moved to Alaska to stay with me. I was in Alaska and he was in Florida. He moved to moved to Alaska to stay with me. And that particular morning, he was slow about getting up, but we were supposed to go apartment hunting. And so he said that, let me go and get you something to eat first. And I said, okay. So we rode across town to one of my favorite restaurants and got something to eat. And we were going to take it with us and eat it in the car because we were going apartment hunting. So I didn't think nothing of it because he wouldn't get out of the car to order. He just told me. He said he didn't feel like eating, but for me to get what I wanted, he'd pay for it. He gave me his credit card. So, but anyway, I'm driving and we going from place to place looking because he was new in the area too. So he didn't know the area like I did. Matter of fact, he hadn't even bought a car yet in Alaska. He hadn't bought a car yet. But so anyway, I kept like looking over at my son and he looked like he was tired or his eyes looked like red, like somebody hadn't slept good. And I kept asking him, son, you all right? You all right? And he say, yeah, mom, I'm all right. Okay, he was the kind of kid that never complained. So I didn't think nothing about it. He didn't say he wasn't feeling good or anything. So I went on, and by this time, I was tired of, and he was like insistent on we looking somewhere else. And I'm going like, no, I'm ready to go home. So by the time I drove into the driveway, I looked over at my child. He looked at me. And his eyes were like, there was a blankness in his eyes. So I say, son, you all right? He didn't answer me, and he shut his eyes. By this time, I guess the mother instinct jumped in place. I had no time to be weak. I jumped, undid my seatbelt, undid his seatbelt, and jumped over, the console, and I like scratched him. I opened his door, and I just started beating him in the chest real hard, just beating him in the chest and slapping him, and he was just like limpless. So I was hitting him so hard in the chest until one with my fist and one of them, and then he said, like that, caught breath. So looked like when he caught breath, I was still in shock, but I was married at the time, and I screamed upstairs. I started blowing the horn for my neighbors, all my neighbors. I was saying like, call 911. I screamed upstairs to my husband and I said, come downstairs. When he came downstairs, he saw like my son, he saw what was going on, and I took and pushed my son over. I don't know why I did it, but I did. I like pushed him toward the open door like I was gonna push him outside, and when I did that, you wouldn't believe what happened. Everything that this man had probably eaten for a week came up. He had internal blockage in his intestines, completely blocked. I saw stuff flying out of this boy's mouth that you wouldn't believe on the ground. So I told my husband, go get a bucket. By this time I could hear all the sirens coming from the mountain, coming on down. And I told him, go get a bucket, fill it with water on the side of the house, and let's clean this up so when the people come. At the same time, I'm still, hit my son on the back, and he was still out of it. He wasn't responding at all, but he was breathing. Sort of. He was sort of. All I know that he was like lifeless, but I know he was breathing because he took that breath, and I just kept like talking to him and telling him he was going to be all right, and I kept like hitting his back and hitting his chest and working on him the best that I could do. I was like fighting for my child's life, adult child. So finally the ambulance came. So when the ambulance got there, they took over and they put him in and I told him to take him to the military base. He is an ex-Marine. Like he said, don't never say I'm ex-Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine, Mom. So he was a Marine, but he wasn't active. He had served his time, and they took him to the Almadorf Air Force Base in Anchorage. And I could hear, they put everything, they was doing all this to him, working on him, and you could hear the sirens. And where we lived in that area, South Anchorage and Diamond area, the ambulance had to go up on the new highway. We call it New Sewer Highway. Headed on out to Almadorf. And I could hear the siren it was wailing, just wailing. But when it looked like to a certain part, like it was getting ready to get up on the express, because I know the street, I heard the sound of the siren cut off. In my mind, I'm going, I've lost my boy. And I told him to hold on. That's what I was saying. I said, I told him to hold on, and he didn't. Well, all I remember, they was picking me up off the ground in the grass. But then we got word. My husband and I got in the car and went running to the base, to the emergency room, to see where they took my child. They had got him stable, but he had gone into emergency surgery. And when I did see my child, he had 2 bags on him. 2 bags. And he was so sick. But he got well, and he had a lot of hurdles to get over. like has different surgeries to, to hook him back together. And then when they did hook him back together, one time the bag came off, and he was so ashamed because it was such a foul smell. My son was going into a depression. Then, even with the bag, he got a job, good job. And one of the sisters in my church went to Africa and bought like some frankincense or something, that because he, for some reason, he couldn't seal that thing, and sometimes it would leak in the odor, so he would use those drops to, I guess, to get rid of the odor, because he worked in an office. But so they finally did the surgery to reconnect him so he wouldn't have to wear a bag. But you guys, little did I know, and I found this out after he really passed away, about 6 years later, I guess, because he passed in 2017, and this happened in like 2006 or 05 or something like that. So he lived that long. But little did I know, I found this out after his death, that they had given him a drug because he did not want to wear a bag. My son did not want to wear a bag. All this I found out after. He would rather be dead, I guess, than to wear a bag. So they was giving him this drug. I'm not going to name the drug. But that drug, they specifically told him that with this drug, it has been known, recorded, to give one leukemia. They told him that. I didn't find that out till after I was at the base myself, and they saw my name and his name on my record. They say, is this the Claude that, it's, oh yeah, I know. Then that's when I found out. I was in shock, but I didn't let the lady know she had let the cat out of the bag. But years later, after the birth of my first grandson in Alaska, by my baby son, my youngest son, had a family. He, in 2017, in February, he was real sick. He had bought a home, got married, all this stuff in Alaska. So years had passed, and his nephew was born, his niece was born, so, but anyway, my son started feeling like he had the flu. That was in February. And after church, once he didn't go to church that day, he said, when you get out of church, come by. I was going to come by and pray over his house, because I said, son, it seems like ever since you bought this house, you've been sick. I said, you think it might be black mold? So we was trying to figure it out. But anyway, that day, it was on a Sunday, I kept getting a call from in church. And it was him when I finally went into the foyer of the church and answered. And I did tell him, why are you calling me? I told you I was coming. He said, Mama, come now. They said that I have leukemia. I don't have long to live. If you don't come now, you won't see me again. That was that Sunday where I went through hell all the way from February to October of going back and forth to the council places and all this stuff until finally the battle was over. And on November 17th, all his family that was there, church members and pastors, he was given his last rite at 8:15 that evening, and he gave up the ghost. He was 42 years old. He was my first child, my first son. So that's my story. And I had to tell that story. Okay, you guys take it easy. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.